You know when you move out of the box you're comfortable in and get lost immediately? Well, it's not because you suck. You haven't learned these shapes that actually unlock the fretboard. And these are the same shapes I teach my students to help them be able to play anything, anywhere. So this isn't gonna be another practice your scales video. This is practically how you can do this in 5 steps. Step 1 being getting our arpeggios down. So what is an arpeggio? Well, if you don't already know, an arpeggio is just a chord, but the notes are split apart. So if we had a G chord, if we want to know how we could play that as an arpeggio, we would first have to figure out, well, what notes are in it? Well, in a G chord, we have G, G, B, right, and D. But that's not quite the information we're looking for. A good way to get an arpeggio down is actually relating it to your scale. So if you have your major scale, right, well, G major, and you kind of put the notes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. You just want to pick out your first note, your third note, and your 5th note, and then just do that again and again and again, and bada bing, bada boom. You'll have your G chord, your G arpeggio. So we get our 1, 3, and our 5, and we just get it rolling. Step 2 is understanding why we actually need them. You know, it's cool to think like, oh, we got our 1, 3, and our 5, but what the fuck am I gonna do with that? Well, we can use this in our soloing to actually be able to play over the chords. So it's not just about learning these chords to be able to say you know them, right? You don't wanna be the guy who's like, I know all my G arpeggios. You wanna be the guy who can fucking rip on the guitar, right? Pentatonic scale speedrun any percent. Whew! And it really helps you to be able to snipe out notes all over the fretboard. If you do know all your G arpeggios, right, and you're soloing over a G, you wouldn't be stuck in just that one spot even. You can come up here, play another G, come up here, play another G, come up here, play another G. It gets a little tough high up, but the idea is just knowing where they are, which brings us to step 3, how we can actually apply them into our playing. So the biggest thing we want to do is separate this tool from actual music. This is something that a lot of guitar players struggle with. We'll learn scales and then we're like, why the fuck do we use them? When we learn chords, triads, arpeggios, it's like, what is it for? Well, it's to create phrases around these notes. So it's not just about playing the 1, 3, and the 5, but it's about understanding that those are our core notes. So I have a little loop set up here. We're gonna walk through the 4 chords of it together and go through the core notes of all of them. Starting with an E minor 7, the core notes would be the root. Now our E minor 7 is gonna be barring the 7th fret on the A all the way up. If you don't have your guitar in your hands, get it. You need it now for the rest of the video. So we're barring on the 7th fret from the A string up, and then we have ring finger on the 9th fret of the D and middle finger on the 8th fret of the B. It's right here. A little groove on it. You can't really hear the bottom guitar too well in that loop, but that's kind of what it's doing. And then we're going down here to an A7. We're going to be barring the whole 5th fret, E string included. Then we're going to be on 7th fret of the A with our ring, and 6th fret of the G with our middle. So we got. Now we're going to go to A. This is going to be kind of a tough one to grab. D major 9. We have middle finger on the 5th fret of the A, pointer finger on the 4th fret of the D, pinky on the 6th fret of the G, and ring on the 5th fret of the B. And they're going down to this chord. I was kind of thinking of it as a 9 chord as well, but you could also think about it as a sus2. We're gonna call it a 9 chord though. I'll make them all 9 chords, because why not? We're going to call this a G major 9. We have our middle finger on the 3rd fret of the low E, pinky on the 4th fret of the D, pointer on the 2nd fret of the G, and ring on the 3rd fret of the B. I would go back through that slowly and lock that in, because it's going to be helpful if you can play through the chords to be able to play over them, right? So in terms of finding the core notes to these chords. We're just looking for the root, the third, and the fifth. So we're starting on an E minor. An E minor would be 1 flat 3 because minor chords have a flat third. So with our major, we have regular third from our major scale, right? On minor, ba, 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 that third's going down a half step. So basically we had our root 7th fret of the A. A good minor third to grab would be 5th fret on the D. And then our 5th can be 9th fret on the D. Ba, ba, ba. And that's kind of what the bass is sitting on this in this loop, by the way. You can kind of hear that. And then we're going down. So those are our root, third, and fifth. And then we can go down to our A, rooted on the 5th fret of the low E. And our little arpeggio for that could be kind of a similar shape, but now we have that major third. So the third's going to come up a half step. So we got 5th fret on low E, 4 on A, 7 on A. Ba, ba, ba. So let's get those first two. And then we have our next chord here. Another major chord, so we want the root, third, fifth. Same shape as before, just move it up a set of strings. So you're starting on the A string. Ba, 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 ba. And then going down to our G. This is another major one, so same shape. We have 3rd fret on low E, 2nd on A, and 5th on A. So in order with the loop, it would look like this. And the idea with getting these arpeggios, like I said, isn't just to play them, but figure out how you can actually use them to create lines. So now we have all these notes. We know we can work around as our chords. So it's kind of a little bit of a low register, but let me show you what soloing with just those 3 notes for every chord that we went over could look like. Now that we're in the new year, you're either gonna keep doing what you've been doing, or you're gonna decide that this is the year you're going pro in guitar. So if you're really gonna make this your year, hop in my free community linked right down below so you can be around other players that are shooting for the moon. Step 4 is going to be expanding your range. We have the basic root, third, and fifth for every chord, but there's more notes in all of those chords, right? We had 7 chord, 7 chord, 9 chord, 9 chord. What the hell? We need to get those notes too, right? So we have our root, third, and fifth. Now on this E minor 7, we just need to add a 7, but I think it's worth adding another one of those 3s on top, a little extra sauce to mess around with, you know, in a little spaghetti guitar sandwich, as they say. I know you've heard people say that. So we have our basic E minor arpeggio, which as a refresher was 7 on A, 5 on D, 9 on D, ba ba ba. Now our 7 is going to be, and that's by the way 1 flat 3 5. Now our 7 is going to be, well, 7th fret on the G. That's not, that's a coincidence, by the way. That's the fret. And then we have another 3 here on 8 on the B. So ba 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 ba. 1 3 5 7 3. That's huge, by the way. Having that, if you can play this, ba 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 ba, your soloing chops, dog. Your soloing chops, dog, are about to be crazy because you can just. I was kind of waffling a little there, but you kind of see the vision. You have that chord. Once you have the chord, you can kind of just work your way down inside of it to the next chord. And now you're playing like a damn pro. So we have that first arpeggio. What's our next one here? Well, we have an an A major, or no, an A dominant 7. Acting like I ain't never played no damn guitar before. Oh, dude, I forgot how to play the guitar. So we have 5th fret on the low E as a refresher, and then that's our root, 3rd on 4th fret of the A, 5th on 7th fret of the A. Ba, 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 ba. We really just need to add the 7 onto this one, which would be on the 5th fret of the D. Ba, 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 ba. Okay, so we got. And then we got, we're on our D major 9. Now this, my friends, is a good one. We got our root and 3rd and 5th from before. Root and 3rd and 5th. Roots on 5th fret of the D, 3rds on 4th fret of the, roots on 5th fret of the A, 3rds on 4th fret of the D, 5th is on 7th fret of the D. Ba, ba, ba. And now we have our major 7 on the 4th fret of the G and our 9 on the 5th fret of the B. Ba, 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 ba. Slow down, buddy. You should really lock this one in before we move on. And in fact, if you weren't playing all the other ones before, like this one, I really don't know why you're even here in the video. You should work your way on back, get them down real quick. So get this one down. And then next up, we have our G major 9 as well. Now this one's a little bit peculiar, the actual chord we're playing, if you remember from earlier. So we're going to reflect that in arpeggio and just work it up. But in a way, it also makes it easier. Let me explain. We have our root on the 3rd fret of the low E, our 3rd on the 2nd fret of the A, and our 5th on the 5th fret, well, of the A. Ba, ba, ba. Now we have our major 7, ba, 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 on the 4th fret of the D. We're just going to keep working our way up, and this is where I said it actually gets a little bit easier. If you envision yourself this open C chord, and then move it up, ba, 2 frets. That's basically what we're doing, just on top of this, on top of this G. So it's ba 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 ba. We got that C shape. 5th fret on the A, 4th fret on the D, 2nd fret on the G, 3rd fret on the B. So all together, playing just those arpeggios with the loop, it would look like this. But like I've been saying this whole damn video, it's not really about playing the arpeggios. It's about using these notes to create phrases. If you just played all of those arpeggios, golly gee, you got all the extensions to these chords pretty down, right? And I don't think I've explicitly said it yet, but this loop is in the key of D. So you can kind of groove around in D major and your B minor pentatonic and using those chords, and that would look a little bit something like this. Who made this video? Step 5 is playing arpeggios everywhere. We just learned these arpeggios in these one spots playing over the loop, but at the end of the day, the goal of reaching this pro level guitar, whatever level, is actually being able to play all over the neck, right? That's really the goal that we're all shooting for. So when you learn these arpeggios, don't just learn the arpeggio on its own, right? Learn it here, learn it somewhere else, and ask yourself, how is it fitting in the key? So in this example, we're in D major. Our E minor is our 2 in the key. We have 1, 2, just counting up with the scale. That's how we're labeling them. 2, then we go down to our 5. Like I said, just counting up in the scale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and D. So we have E, 2, A, 5. Then we got D as our 1, counting to 1 in the scale. And then we go down to our G, which is going to be our 4, counting to 1, 2, 3, 4 in the scale. So we have a 2, 5, 1, 4. And that's good to know, because when you know that, you can not only play it in any key, but you can play it anywhere. We're in what, D, right? If I think about D up here, and we have a 2, 5, 1, 4. Boom. And then I can just add the extensions, right? What was it? 2 was a minor 7, right? Then we had the 5 as a dominant. Then we had the 1 as a major 9. And then we had the 4 as a major 9. Sounds a little different in a different spot, but this is the idea of the power of understanding these concepts, is that you can just start to fucking do anything. And if you're tired of just watching YouTube videos and you really want to make this your year on the guitar, check out this video right here to see how I help players just like you unlock the fretboard and play creative ideas all over the neck. Dude, boring video. Who made this video?